Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. So we have the Marshall Shredmaster. This is a reissue pedal. Actually, they have a series of them that they've reissued. We've got the Blues Breaker, the Drive Master, Shredmaster of course today, and the Governor. And these pedals are $300 a pop Canadian, okay? You want to be more specific, $299. Okay, and that'll be at Long McQuaid, anywhere in Canada. And so these are reissues of older pedals. I don't know the whole history behind Marshall pedals. I never really got into them, to be honest. This one's a distortion, and it's kind of an interesting pedal for that because it can also work as a overdrive as well. But anyway, so let's check this out a little bit. Now it does run either 9-volt pedal power supply, or you can run on batteries. It's got a little battery cover underneath, so pop in your 9-volt and away you go. Anyways, we are plugged into my Blackstar HT5 amp, and I'm using my Kramer Pacer Classic for this because it's got humbuckers, and hey, if you want really good distortion, you need humbuckers. So here's my clean on the bridge. In the middle position. And the neck. Back to the bridge. Okay, so with everything pretty much 12 o'clock here, we've got gain, we've got bass, we've got a contour knob, which is quite interesting, treble, and of course volume, which will push more to the amp, to the front end. And I've got the amp set on about 930 on the clean channel. No other effects, we're just direct to the front of the amp. Of course, this is being recorded direct into my DSLR camera with its Shure condenser mic on it, so we get a really awesome sound. And we're just off the side actually from facing the front of the amp, so you're going to get kind of like the room of what it's like in here. Okay, so let's fire this up. So let's bring that gain back. Bring the volume up. So just in going with bass and treble so you get an idea. And the contour. let's just bring the volume back, and I'm going to turn the amp up about half. So at half of my amp, 2.5 watts worth, okay. So let's leave the gain, actually let's start back at 12. Gain, volume. Let's bring the contour, let's get a little bit more light. So not all guitars are going to sound the same, obviously, even in the same amp. But, you know, I thought we'd start with the Humbucker, and so I want to do the Telecaster next, just so you get an idea of single coils. Sorry, don't have a Strat here. Don't want one either. Had enough of Strats. I'm more of a Tele person. But, definitely, yeah, pickups are going to make a big impact on what it's going to be like for sure. So the cleaner your pickups, even for humbuckers, the better it's going to be. The Kramer Pacer is kind of like an 80 hairs metal kind of guitar, so the pickups are a little on the microphonic side, as they say, so because they're not wax potted. And yeah, they're not bad. I mean, I'm thinking about actually changing them to something a little different, but that won't be for a little while yet. Because I'd rather have wax potted pickups anyways. I like them better. Alright, so we have our Telecaster. Clean on bridge. Middle and neck. Alright, let's start at the 12. Know the rules when it comes to playing riffs exactly. YouTube kind of frowns a little bit on that stuff. Anywho, so that's it. I think depending on your amp and your guitar, it could definitely be a worthy pedal. It does haul back the gain quite a bit, so it becomes more like an overdrive. You know, because even at 12 o'clock, I mean. That's kind of like a nice, like a tamed blues driver kind of thing. Now they do have a blues breaker reissue pedal. I'm probably going to end up trying out all of these as I can afford the rentals on them. Just money's not lucrative right now. So I did get this one for now anyways to start with. So I'll probably end up going through all of them. I don't know, the next probably month and a half, 2 months. We'll go through them one at a time. So we've only got like what, 3 left? Yep, 3 more left. And we'll go through these. But I don't know what the original ones sounded like. But these are reissues, like I said, of the originals, I guess. And so maybe they're basically the same thing. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Marshall pedals. I'm like into Boss and MXR and many other brands. I've never really gotten into the whole Marshall scene on pedals. I've more played around and I've had a few Marshall amps over the years. And yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite impressed with the amount of trouble that it does actually put out. not a screechy treble like you hear in a Marshall amp. Marshall amps can be a little on the shrilly side. Mind you, they're not near as shrilly as Fender amps tend to be, unless of course it's a like a Princeton Reverb. Now that's got to be the nicest Fender amp I've ever played on in my life, and if I could afford one, I would have one. But otherwise, yeah, I have no respect for any other Fender amp except for that one. But that's not a lot of treble difference. Like, just gives you that nice little extra bit of bite. I really like that. The gain, there's full gain. But even if you turn the gain right to 0, there's no pedal. But it does, when you pull the gain back that far, it does take the bite off of any of your other controls. So you're going to get a little bit more treble response with adding more gain. And even if we go full volume just there, that's nice. It's just like nicely overdriven, like you know? Like, now I will say this though, between the humbuckers and the single coils, I feel the same way. Bridge pickup definitely sounds the best with this pedal. Doing 2 pickups or going straight to that neck, it just kind of falls apart to me. You know, like this is both pickups. And bridge. Full neck. If that's the tone you're going for, then fantastic. I mean, you're just perfect there. But that's not the tone I'd be going for. I kind of like this about the gain about here. Volume is, I'm okay with the volume there. It's a nice distortion. I mean, it's nicer than Boss in their DS1. I've owned a few DS1s. Anyways, the modified one. But I think the $300 price, I'm kind of a little, I'm not sure, but it is nice because you can kind of get an overdrive and a nice distortion and the same pedal, right? So it kind of becomes like a 2-in-1 in that sense, but unfortunately that's not how we all roll. We definitely want to have that separate overdrive, separate distortion, and with whatever settings we feel the best with our gear. So, but I think in the overall spectrum of things, it's definitely a quality built pedal. Like, it's made for anybody. You know, whether you're like a beginner noob or whether you're a touring musician that's going to put this thing through its massive paces. Yeah, this pedal is definitely going to take the beating. You know, it's an all metal enclosure. It's pretty heavy duty, so I don't see why it can't withstand any musician, period. And these switches are quite cool. You can also get larger knobs too. Like if you've ever seen the switch knobs I've put on some of my pedals, you can get those for like from Amazon or China, and put them on here and create a bigger foot switch than the little tiny guy. By just putting it on there and hit the set screws, and away you go, and you got a bigger stomp area. But I think that, I mean, I'm not a Marshall fanboy of any sort, but if I was looking for something that would give me this sort of thing, then yeah, I would kind of be in on this. And I think, you know, $300 bucks, it's quality built. It does have a lot of features because you do have your gain and your volume, but you've also got bass, treble, and a contour knob to mix the levels of your bass and treble. It is a nice feature to have, which I don't know of too many pedals out there that have a contour knob. You usually see the contour knob on an amp, usually more so than a pedal. But it does add a lot of extra capabilities to the pedals. So I guess for that reason, I'm going to have to say that, yeah, it's probably worth the $300. But I think a more realistic price should be somewhere around $250-ish. You know, that's just my opinion. But, you know, if you're comfortable paying $300 Canadian, then by all means, snag her. Now, you guys are all into this star rating thing, and I'm not going to be doing too many more videos with star ratings. I'm thinking I might just forget that whole menagerie because it gets a little confusing for people. So it's going to be kind of getting boiled down to, you know, if you like it, buy it kind of thing. But I will, for the next few videos, continue to do your star rating stuff. But I would put this at, I would put it at a solid 4 out of 5. Nothing's perfect, that's for sure. And I think that the price is, I mean, at $300, you can buy a separate overdrive and a DS1 if you like the sound, which you can get similar sounds on the DS1, maybe not all of them. But, I mean, that's like well under $200 for 2 pedals, and which gives you overdrive and distortion. This is just giving you, basically, it's a distortion pedal, but it can kind of act like one, but you can't do 2 at once kind of thing, right? Or, you know, switch off one and go to the other without screwing around with knobs. So, you know, but I do think it's a neat pedal. I do think it's a really neat pedal. We'll see what happens with the Drive Master and the Governor and whatnot. And the Blues Breaker should be interesting as well. But I'm definitely not sold on it for myself because I don't require another distortion pedal at this time. But if I was looking, I would be waiting myself until I found a used one for around that $250 range. But that's just me. But like I said, if you're comfortable paying $3 and you're a Marshall person and you like Marshall, well then hey, there you go. But for me, it's just not quite for me. Okay, this is not my bag of apples. Okay, but I do like the sound on the bridge, but it totally does fall apart on the middle, and it does fall apart on the neck as well. It's creating sounds that I'm hearing that are like more it's almost like your speaker was made out of rubber and is just getting you know, kind of like a farting kind of sound in some areas, and it's like, that's not what I want to hear. I've heard better pedals at neck and middle positions before, so it does have its characteristics about it, and you will find that it may or may not work for you even with your amp, even if you like it at lower volumes. When you get to the higher volumes, that's where things can go a little crazy as well, so just keeping that in mind. So anyway, but I do think it deserves a 4 out of 5. It is a good piece of engineering. You know, no doubt there. It does have features that most other distortions don't have. And it's got a decent distortion, at least on bridge. I like it on the bridge, on either single or humbucker. So anyway, that's it. That's all. See you on the next one.